First one's coming up is from an IGN article that I found. Control developers Remedy have confirmed that yet another game, they're working on another game. So that is now 6 games that they're said to be working on at once. This is a quote from it. It's creating single player modes for first person shooters Crossfire's X and Crossfire HD, two projects from Epic set in the Control Alan Wake universe, and an unrevealed free to play co op game Vanguard. And then, of course, now the sixth one, which is unknown, a new early stage project. This brings the question of whether developers does this affect the developer by working on too many games at once? Like, do you think that it lowers the quality of the game or the length of the game or even hikes up the price of a game? What are your thoughts on like them taking on so much at once? Kevin.
Oh, and the famous words of a meme that I saw, they have too much dip on their chip. Um, I always feel like it's more of a I'm I don't want to I'm gonna be positive. I hope that it works out well. I hope that they can get all 6 games out and they hold like each their own different levels of success. Like if one was like they knew it was gonna bomb and it actually does well. I hope that it works out well because working with like even like 3 games, I feel like it's a lot, especially
Mm-hmm.
with how big the company. And we don't. I personally don't know the company, so I don't know if they're massive or if they're like a small company working on 6 games. I feel like it's a lot, but if they can get it done, I hope they can get it done with great quality. Because that's yeah, quality, not quantity. Because they don't need every game to be a hit. They just need a few of them to be like successful and their own way. I believe.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Danny.
Um, I don't think it really matters. I mean, if you're a development team and you have 6 different good teams working on these games, I mean, what does it matter how many they work on? I mean, if they're able to, if they have the capability to do 6, then they can do so. If you do 8, do 8. If you do less, then less. Like some companies aren't as didn't get as much recognition or whatever, so they can't afford a full team of 6 people. They can, and I don't think it's gonna hurt the process. As if they were doing 4, it would be the same exact thing. Or if they were just
Mm,
had one full team to do it. Like Marvel, great example, has executives that their sole responsibility is making sure that, like, literally, like I think they have a pair of executives that all they do is make sure that everything runs right. In these one movie, and they don't go and focus on 6 movies at once. No, they focus on one movie. That's it. They make sure that it all goes right until it's done. And they move on to the next movie, and that could be the same thing for the games. You have
Mm-hmm.
the executives that are in charge and making of quality control type of thing. You have the teams in place, and then that's it. You're done. You
Now,
know.
to answer Kevin's question before, they have a little bit over 250 people in their studio across 30 countries.
oh, so then they should
Yeah,
be fine. They should be
Yeah.
fine.
that's what I'm saying. So it's like obviously they're able to. Like you wouldn't. You're not gonna put the same 3 teams on. I mean, one team on 3 games. That's just
Hmm.
not gonna happen, and that's kind of how it feels. Like some people might think that is what's going on because they go, "Oh, this development, this studio is making 6 games at once." No, it's a whole bunch of different places working on the game.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, Randy, any thoughts?
I don't think it's gonna be too difficult for them, honestly, because it's also like, yeah, sure, 6 projects, but how big are said projects? Now, with the whole Crossfire X and Crossfire HD, it's it's just like an expansion off of like a Counter Strike game, if anything. So if they're adding like a single player story to that, it it is going to take some time, obviously, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything too grueling, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the 2 games that are set in the Alan Wake universe, one of them is supposed to be a AAA, and the other one they say is a smaller project.
Right.
Which with that, it's like, okay, so you have one team working on an actual big game, and then we have 3 other small projects, and the free to play co-op, which they're probably not going to be like too big on, if anything.
Hmm.
So it's there is a balance there. If it was like six AAA titles, then like okay, you may be like extending a little too far. But if
Yeah.
it's one
Yeah.
AAA and five like just just little stories here and there, there shouldn't be anything to worry about.
Yeah, that's a good point about the AAA thing. There's only the one this AAA game, and it might be one of the Control or Alan Wake, which is good because those are the franchises that really made Remedy. Uh, so so so
And Quantum Break also.
and Quantum Break, which is in the same world too as everything else. So it's really
Is
interesting
it?
how they're all connected. They're all in the same world. They've mentioned it
I-
before. Although,
The show
what do you mean?
is also part of everything because Quantum Break had a
Yeah,
show, didn't it?
yeah. It was
Yeah.
they had a TV show connected to the game.
What was the
And
TV
they had
show?
a TV show in the game.
It
They have too
was,
much.
I believe
They
it
have
was
too
on
much going on.
Xbox. It was like was it exclusive to Xbox Live? Was
Yeah,
it
it
the
was.
TV show?
Okay.
Yeah. They
Mm.
Yeah,
had
because they streamed it
they
on
had a
Microsoft.
brief mini series to connect with the game. The game itself is connected to the worlds, but they don't reference each other. But Remedy has said that it's all connected into one world.
Alan Wake and Control does reference
They do,
each other
yeah.
though.
The
Yeah,
DLCs, the recent Control DLCs also reference Alan Wake himself and
his
his
flashlight.
powers
No,
or whatever. I was wrong about that before. I don't think it was the flashlight, but I know it was just something referencing
some
Alan
anomaly.
Wake's powers, something along those lines. So yeah, but I agree with you guys about that too. I guess it all just depends on what they're working on. So their focus is on a bunch of little stuff, which is not that big of a deal. I wanted to ask this question to get your thoughts on it because the first thing that I thought about when I read the article was again CD Projekt Red because after the whole bullshit stuff that happened with Cyberpunk, they had the balls to announce a month or two back that they were still going to focus on a sequel to Cyberpunk and a sequel to The Witcher at the
But
same time.
they couldn't even get Cyberpunk done right.
Exactly. So I was just like, dude, like, why would you announce that you're going to work on two AAA games that this is these two games as much as the failure of Cyberpunk was, it still made a lot of money. So
Yeah.
it is a big name on their studio along with The Witcher, regardless of what you think of it. So like you're announcing these two games that you're putting all this time into. Does that mean like you're going to water down one of them? Are you expanding your studios? I'm pretty sure they did expand their studios, but regardless, like just the reputation itself, like you should be focusing on one game when you couldn't even fix the one you released.
When
So
you
I was
couldn't
kind of
send out
worried. Sorry, go ahead.
one. No. Sorry for cutting you off. I'm like, if they're working on two AAA titles and they barely, and I mean barely, got one out, they should focus on one title. CD Project Red. I don't care if like they made The Witcher. I'm like, you made a botch game. You
Yeah.
made a botch game, and you sold it, and like was chopping it up to be like the best game that was gonna come out and all this
They
stuff.
sold it
And
with pride.
they sold it, and it came out the way it did. So I don't care. I hope that they learn from that, and these two projects do come out better than Cyberpunk 2077. That should be $10, not even $5 now. The way it came out, I don't even think it's still fixed, to be honest with you. But
I
I,
don't
I
think
haven't
so.
tried to play it because I got so annoyed last time, and
Yeah.
I was on board. I mean, the game's a great game, like
Yeah.
overall. If you it can look past a lot of the
hmm
glitches, it's
hmm
a fun game. It really is. It's like you it's takes that GTA world and it just brings it up a notch.
First person mode.
Of what you can do. Yeah, what you can do, what you're capable of doing. The weapons, it's a great. It was also a good, almost looter shooter almost because they had cool weapons you wanted. You know, they did a great job. Just
it,
No, they had
they
a
Yeah.
great
had set up
idea.
a
They
lot of
just
technical
They
issues.
had a great idea,
yeah,
not a great job.
and
Sorry, you're
then
right. You're right. But they had a great premise. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. They had a good premise. If they would have just stuck with it, had it fixed, and it was done, everything else would have. It wouldn't have been in the situation that they're in at all. Not even a
not
little.
not trying to cut you off, but sorry for cutting you
I'm
off.
done.
Um, I feel like it was such like like do you know how like when you have something so perfect, it's like they had everything working, the stars were aligning, and
Yeah.
then somehow somebody just dropped like coffee on the computer, and that ruined the entire project. And that ruined the entire project.
Yeah.
It would like I was gonna buy it myself, and I was like, damn, this game looks good. And then the first 3 days, I heard all the things, and I was like,
I
oh,
played it,
Coffee drop.
you
Shit,
know.
we lost half the game. Release it anyways.
And Danny had the worst because you played the. I
On the
had the PS5
PS4.
at the
Oh,
time when it
base
came out, so you
PS4.
you
ooh,
had it on a base PS4, so it wasn't very pretty at all for you. It was almost unplayable for me. At least it was. It still looked great. The game
Yeah.
looked phenomenal. I had a glitch every now and then, but it wasn't that. That's what everybody was saying and hearing. Um, it did turn off on me a lot, and I had some game breaking like modes where I had to basically go load back my last save. I had that once or twice, which is super annoying. But overall the gameplay great for me. I just got annoyed with the idea that the game could be erased at any time.
Well, they
It had
fixed
that
that now,
what?
but
super.
yeah,
Oh,
I get
I know,
that.
but
oh,
Yeah.
it took me a while to fix
oh,
that.
Yeah.
And that was like, yeah, I think I'll wait till I get some PS5 version and then I'll play it again. And that's what I'm gonna end up doing any next time. Like I am gonna give it a
Mhm.
shot, but when the PS5 version of it comes out, because by then they'll have a lot of stuff fixed.
So,
Because again, it's a game worth trying. I still think.
um, oh yeah, sorry. I don't know why I blanked out because I forgot that wasn't what the original topic was. I just mentioned Cyberpunk, and that's what we started talking about.
Yeah,
But yeah,
developers,
so
same thing.
I was gonna say